Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're doing What If Luffy Was a Hockey Master, part number 4. So, in the last part we went over some of the Java arc and we were making our way to Skypiea. Without further ado, let's just hop right into the video. So, Luffy just met this old man that was an ancestor or the great grandchild of this famous liar that wrote in one of his books wrote about this island in the sky that he went to. So Luffy asks the guy if he knows how to get to this island in the sky, and the guy says, "Yeah, I know how to. Why?" And he says, Luffy says he wants to go up there to see what's up. And the guy says, "Well, it's kind of hard to get up there. You have to time it, and it's very risky." And Luffy's like, "What do you mean time it?" And the guy explains to them these special clouds that are really, really big, and they're like really high up. They're like the highest clouds like ever, right? And that this is where the island in the sky is supposedly. So Luffy's like, "How do we get up there then?" And then he says that this is where the timing part comes in. This is the water pillar that blows up once every 5 months, and when it blows up, there's a small chance that this island and this big cloud is right over it. And the guy says, Luffy asks the guy if he says, "I think I've seen this cloud before. When we were on our way to this island, there was this humongous cloud that made everything around us pitch black. We couldn't see anything." And Luffy's like, "Well," the old man was like, "Well, that must be it. What way did you guys come from?" And he said they came from the east, right? So he's like, "Okay, then it must they came from the north." And he's like, "Okay, then it must be coming right over here." So the guy says, Luffy says, "Okay, well, how long do we have to get there?" And then he does some calculations and says, "Well, you have until tomorrow at like 11 in the morning or something like that." And Luffy's like, "Well, is that ship in good condition to get up there?" And the guy, he shakes his head, he's like, "No, we could fix it for you though." And Luffy's like, "Yes, please do." So the old man, he tells the monkey guy and the other monkey guy to fix his ship so it's in good conditions so the Straw Hats could go up there. So the guy says, the guy also tells Luffy to find this bird that gives you, it only turns its head south and in one direction. So once you go into that direction, it'll take you straight there. And you need that bird to go to where this water pillar explodes. And so Luffy goes by himself to capture this bird, and he catches it pretty easily. He just uses observation haki, looks around for a while, eventually sneaks up on the bird and puts him in a bag and takes him back to where he was. Back to where Luffy left from. So eventually he goes back to the old man, and the old man says that his ship was ready, and he tells him that they could sleep over here for tonight. So the Straw Hats and the monkey guys sleep outside, right? Because they just sleep outside, and eventually they wake up at like 9 in the morning, and they go on the boat, and the two monkey guys help Luffy to get there. And Luffy and the Straw Hats, they see this water pool, right? So the monkey guys tell them that they have to go in this to get to the water pillar. So they are like, "Okay, cool," except for Usopp and Nami. They're all shitting bricks. They're both shitting bricks because they don't want to go in there because it looks dangerous. So Luffy's like, "Guys, whatever, let's go." So yeah. So they start going around and around and around. Eventually it calms down, and they're like, "What the hell just happened? Did we miss it?" And then eventually they hear a very familiar voice. And Luffy turns to the direction where he heard the voice, and he's like, "Oh, wait, isn't that the guy that we met at the bar?" And yeah, so the guy says that he's here to collect Luffy's bounty. And the guy pulls Luffy and Zoro's bounty, and the guy pulls out 2 posters, right? And he says one of them is for 60 million, which is Zoro's, and one of them is for 150 million, which is Luffy's. So Sanji asked Usopp if he saw any of his, if you saw his face on it, and he's like, no. So Usopp's like mad at this. So yeah, so Luffy's like, well, I want you to take my bounty, and Luffy's preparing the fight, and eventually out of nowhere, the water pillar explodes and it takes Luffy and it tries to Skypiea. So when they make their way up there, and they're just going through the clouds, and they're like, how the hell are we? Like, we don't know in this environment. Like, where are we? What's going on? So eventually there's this guy with the mask that starts shooting cannonballs at the Going Merry, and Luffy and Zoro and Sanji defend the ship by like Usopp kicks the cannons away, and then Zoro cuts them, and then Luffy just punches them. And yeah, so eventually the guy gets on the ship and starts to fight everybody. Luffy starts to swing at the guy, and Luffy misses like some of them. He misses all of them, and the guy starts to kick Luffy, but Luffy dodges all of them. So eventually the guy jumps off the ship, realizing that he can't defeat Luffy, and then he jumps off, shoots the cannon. Luffy punches it away. And yeah, so the guy zooms away, and I don't know where this guy on his bird comes on the ship and tells him that like Luffy asks him, he doesn't know how to get to Skypiea, the island in the sky, and he says, yeah, I'll take you there. So the guy gets on the ship and takes him there, and he takes him up he takes him to where this gate is, and tells him like he can't go any farther. So yeah, because he's like wanted and stuff by the person who runs the island. So the guy leaves, and they go through to this gate, and there's a lady that takes some pictures of them and tells them that they have to pay this fee of like 7,000 extol, and Nami asks how much extol is in berries, and she says she doesn't know what berries are. And so they're like, what? And so Luffy comes out and says like, what do we do? What happens if we don't pay in? If we don't pay the entrance fee? And she says nothing, and Luffy's like, wait, so if we pay it, we could go in, and if we don't pay it, we could go in? And she shakes her head, like, yeah. And they're like, fine, we won't pay it. So this crab gets a hold of the ship, and the lady says that it'll take him straight up the Milky Road and take them to Skypiea, the island in the sky that they want to go to. So the crab zooms them up the Milky Road, and eventually they make it to this island in the sky. They dock, and they get on this beach, and they start like swimming in the water because the water looks weird. It's made out of clouds. So they start looking around, like, what the hell is this place? Where do we go and stuff? So eventually they see this lady with wings, right? This like young lady around Luffy, Zoro's like around their age and stuff. So the lady starts to tell them about Skypiea and stuff like that, and eventually the lady's dad comes in with this jet ski and crashes it because he doesn't really know how to use it. So he starts talking with them, invites them to eat, but while Luffy asks the guy if he could use his jet ski, and the guy says, yeah, sure, I don't see what the problem with that. So Luffy gets on the jet ski and he starts zooming around and stuff, and while that was going on, the old man, right, the lady's dad, asks him if they want to have a bite at his place, and they all go except for Luffy, because Luffy was out in the middle of the cloud ocean zooming on the jet ski. And eventually Luffy sees this big island right next to the island that he was just at. So he decides to go on this island. He's like, oh, I want to see what's over here. And when he's zooming around, right, he goes to this island. He gets on top of the island and he hears some like explosion and stuff. So Luffy runs to where the explosion is, not knowing what's going on, and he sees this guy this like 5 guys cornering this one dude in the middle. So Luffy jumps, kicks one of them in the back, sending him flying, and picks up the guy, and he's like, what the hell's going on? So the the 4 other guys says, who are you? What are you doing here? And Luffy says, I'm just traveling. Why are you hurting this man? What did he do? And he said he broke a law. And Luffy's like, what law did he break? And he says the law of, like, he broke the law of being on this island. So Luffy's like, oh, I guess I'm breaking the law too. You're gonna come for me next, huh? So they say, yeah, we're gonna arrest you and him and both exile you for disrespecting the priests and being on this island. So Luffy's like, I'd like to see you try. And out of nowhere, this big, like, white light surrounds Luffy. Luffy grabs the guy and jumps away, and all the 5 guys run away too, not wanting to get hit by this thing. So Luffy grabs the guy and puts him on his jet ski and zooms away, and the guys don't chase him because there's like, why are we gonna chase him, right? So they don't. The priest guy don't chase Luffy, and Luffy starts zooming away. He goes back to the boat where he was at, and he starts walking. He sees Zoro there, and he asks Zoro where did the rest of people go, and he says he went to the old man's island, and he points to the old man's house, and he points to the old man's house. So Luffy gets up there with the other guy, and the other guy starts to tell the old man, right, the lady's dad, right, that we met in the with the wings, her dad, about like what was going on, and the guy explains to them that this is priests and this is God that rules over this island, Skypiea and stuff. So Luffy's like, so he basically causes trouble in this island, and Luffy's like, well, he's scum then. So Luffy wants to fight this guy, and the guy says that he can't because this Enel guy, this god, is way too strong. So Luffy's like, don't worry about it, I'll beat his ass. So yeah. So Luffy makes a plan to go to where Enel is, right, with this guy that he saved from the priests. So yeah, so Luffy, the engineer guy, the lady with the wings dad, put some like these special things called I think they were like these she cells that have special things. It's like Skypiea technology, right? And dials, and this is jet dials that let ships zoom, right? Like the same thing that's on, like a bigger version of the thing that was on the jet ski that Luffy was riding on. He puts 2 of them on the boat, and yeah, he tells him to go up the Milky Road, and it takes him straight to Enel, the god. So yeah, so the Straw Hats head on the Milky Road with this guy, and the guy says that he doesn't want to go on because he doesn't want to see the priests again, because if they don't win, he's gonna die. So the guy stays back, and Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats head on this Milky Road. And while they're on this Milky Road, they see this hand that has 4 different like holes in it, and it's like the ordeal of spheres, ordeal of strings, ordeal of like stuff like that. So they decide to go to the ordeal of spheres. So they go to the circle, right? And eventually this is fat guy that wants to fight them. Luffy recognizes him as one of the guys that was trying to kill the man he saved. So Luffy's like, oh, you came for round 2, I see. So the guy really realizing that it's Luffy, he's like, oh shit, this guy's strong. So yeah. So the guy dashes at Luffy trying to sneak it, like get a cheap shot in, but Luffy dodges the attack and not getting hit by the pressure dial or whatever the dial that guy uses. Then Luffy uses armament haki in his fist, punches the guy in the face, sending him flying. Luffy jumps to where the guy was, gets on top of him, grabs him by the throat and tells him where this Enel guy is. And the guy, the fat guy, struggling to breathe, is like, well, why do you want to know? And then he says he came here to kill him. So then the guy tells him that he'll never know. And then Luffy snaps his neck, killing him. So yeah. So Luffy gets on the he doesn't you know what, he doesn't kill him. Luffy won't kill him for no reason. He just chokes him out and he gets unconscious. Luffy gets back up on the ship, and they start going down the Milky Road. So eventually they hear a bunch of gunshots and stuff, and Luffy says it sounds like a war. So they decide to split up to realize, like, to see what's going on. Luffy, Nami, Usopp, and Sanji are gonna stay on. No, Usopp, right? Usopp, Nami, Sanji are gonna stay on the boat while the rest of them head out and try to figure out what's going on. They're gonna go on foot to where this Enel guy is, where the old man told them. We're just gonna call this the old man, right? The lady's dad, where he told them where Enel is. So they go on foot, and eventually they get surrounded by the snake. The snake eats Luffy and tries to run away. But Luffy just pulls out his katana and slices the thing in half, steps out, and is covered in like this goo, the guts of the snake. So So the whole snake thing where Luffy was like in there for the rest of the Skypiea, like most of the Skypiea arc, is not gonna happen because Luffy just kills it when he's inside of it. So they continue walking, and eventually this guy, right, with his cannon, the guy that they fought before, tries to fight Luffy again. But Luffy just defeats him pretty easily. He dodges all the guys' attacks and the kicks and the cannon shooting and all that stuff. And then he just punches him right in the gut, breaking his stomach and knocking the wind out of him, knocking him out and stuff. So yeah, so Luffy's like, oh, that guy was pretty weak. I thought he was going to be stronger because he gave me kind of like a trouble on the boat. So eventually, the guy, the white knight that they met that gave him directions, meets up with them and tells them that there's this war going on, and then Luffy tells him if he knows what Enel is, and he's like, yeah, why? So and then Luffy says that he come here to kill him. So so the old man's like, why do you want to kill him? And he's like, you can't kill him anyway, even if you wanted to. He's way too strong. So Luffy's like, oh, okay, I see. So if you say he's pretty strong, get the old man, which is exaggerating because he's not strong himself. So if you're saying that, he might be kind of strong. So Luffy starts to chuckle. He's like, what am I saying? I'll beat his ass anyway. So yeah. So the white knight takes him to where he last saw Enel. So Luffy and Enel have a stare down, and that's where I'm gonna leave it. This video was kind of short because I want to leave it at like I want the next part to be all about Luffy and Enel fighting, like half of it. So yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next part. Hope you guys like it. Bye.